continue to read in Second Samuel, or let's get started for today. Let's get started in Second Samuel chapter 16 in the King James Version. And when David was a little past the top of the hill, behold, Ziba, the servant of Mephibosheth, met him with a couple of donkeys saddled, and upon them 200 loaves of bread, and 100 bunches of raisins, and 100 of summer fruits, and a bottle of wine. And the king said unto Ziba, what meanest thou by these? And Ziba said, these mules be for the king's household to ride on, and the bread and summer fruit for the young men to eat, and the wine, that such as be faint in the wilderness may drink. Brief pause. So you may see the A word because that's the historical word for a donkey or type of mule. But of course, this is YouTube. And so I don't have any. I'm the only one that edits. So I'm not going to try to have these bleeped. And there's words that are unspecified and or known to be like not good to say on, particularly on YouTube. And so I edit only those words. So I try to. So let's continue to read though in 2 Samuel chapter 16. I'm in verse 3 now. And the king said, and where is thy master's son? And Ziba said unto the king, behold, he abideth at Jerusalem. For he said, today shall the house of Israel restore me the kingdom of my father. Then said the king to Ziba, behold, thine are all that pertained unto Mephibosheth. And Ziba said, I humbly beseech thee that I may find grace in thy sight, my lord, O king. And when King David came to Bahurim, behold, thence came out a man of the family of the house of Saul, whose name was Shimei, the son of Gera. He came forth and cursed still as he came, and he cast stones at David and at all the servants of King David. And all the people and all the mighty men were on his right hand and on his left. And thus said Shimei, when he cursed, come out, thou bloody man, and thou man of Belial. The Lord hath returned upon thee all the blood of the house of Saul, in whose stead thou hast reigned, and the Lord hath delivered the kingdom into the hand of Absalom thy son. And behold, thou art taken in thy mischief, because thou art a bloody man. Then said Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, unto the king, why should this dead dog curse my lord the king? Let me go over, I pray thee, and take off his head. And the king said, what have I to do with you, ye sons of Zeruiah? So let him curse, because the Lord hath said unto him, curse David. Who shall then say, wherefore hast thou done so? And David said to Abishai, and to all his servants, behold, my son, which came forth of my bowels, seeketh my life. How much more now may this Benjamite do it? Let him alone, and let him curse, for the Lord hath bidden him. It may be that the Lord will look on mine affliction, and that the Lord will requite me good for his cursing this day. And as David and his men went by the way, Shimei went along on the hillside over against him and cursed as he went, and threw stones at him and cast dust. And the king and all the people that were with him came weary and refreshed themselves there. And Absalom and all the people, the men of Israel, came to Jerusalem, and Ahithophel with him. And it came to pass, when Hushai the Archite, David's friend, was come unto Absalom, that Hushai said unto Absalom, God save the king, God save the king. And Absalom said to Hushai, is this thy kindness to thy friend? Why wentest thou not with thy friend? And Hushai said unto Absalom, nay, but whom the Lord and this people and all the men of Israel choose, his will I be, and with him will I abide. And again, whom should I serve? Should I not serve in the presence of his son? As I have served in thy father's presence, so will I be in thy presence. Then said Absalom to Ahithophel, give counsel among you that what we shall do. And Ahithophel said unto Absalom, Go in unto thy father's concubines, which he hath left to keep the house, and all Israel shall hear that thou art abhorred of thy father. Then shall the hands of all that are with thee be strong. So they spread Absalom a tent upon the top of the house, and Absalom went in unto his father's concubines in the sight of all Israel. And the counsel of Ahithophel, which he counseled in those days, was as if a man had inquired at the oracle of God. So was all the counsel of Ahithophel, both with David and with Absalom. Wow. So, if you remember, let's see here. Something that David did in our previous Bible study, and then a prophet came and told him that, you did some things in secret. You did some things in secret, David. Remember when you had Uriah murdered and you slept with his wife in secret? Well, things are going to happen that are going to be in the daylight. And now we know what that is. His son Absalom, okay, in verse 22, so they spread Absalom a tent upon the top of the house, and Absalom went in unto his father's concubines in the sight of all Israel. Yes, these were his father's concubines, but again, remember what the law said. Do not covet thy neighbor's wife, and the rules and the commandments such as do not lie with thy father's wife, or and such and such. So there was a lot going on there. We can now see just how wicked Absalom was, how conceited he was, and how he was going after power and glory and honor for himself, and not for the people that he was to serve. And David was already distraught. He was already upset. Listen to how upset he was. Here is somebody, Shimei, who is a part of Saul's family, and had it out for David and didn't like him just for the fact that he knew that the kingdom was taken from Saul, his family line, and given to David. Even though there were more details to that, he didn't care to know the details or care to even inquire of the Lord. He just cared to seek some type of revenge, and here it is. He's getting to see it. Even though he was not in a position to harm the king, he was like, let me kick him while he's down. Like his own son's trying to take his life. Look at what he's going through. Ha, ha, ha. So much so that David was also feeling kind of a way, understanding things that were happening, and understood that these may be consequences of his own action that he had. Somewhat that he may think could be justified, but knowing that no, he understands that he's been forgiven, but these other things that are happening, even though they are consequences, they're still wicked. They're still sinful. And so he's going to uphold his dignity through the Lord. Listen to what he says. In verse 10, and the king said, what have I to do with you, ye sons of Zeruiah? So let him curse, because the Lord hath said unto him, curse David. Who shall then say, wherefore hast thou done so? And David said to Abishai and to all his servants, behold, my son, which came forth of my bowels, seeketh my life. How much more now may this Benjamite do it? Let him alone, and let him curse, for the Lord hath bidden him. He's not quite sure if this is just fruits, just due fruits, as the saying goes. He's not quite sure, but then he goes on and says in verse 12, it may be that the Lord will look on mine affliction, and that the Lord will requite me good for his cursing this day. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to turn the other cheek. He may feel justified in his anguish and his sadness. And at this point, there's so much that I myself am going through, I may even deserve a little bit of this. I'm already putting myself through some type of emotional turmoil, but at the same time, this may be my just fruits for something that, yeah, I did. And so he's taking accountability, but he's also relying on the Lord. He's saying, but if I don't deserve this, if truly I am going through something, allow for the Lord. The Lord will look on my affliction, and that the Lord will requite me good for his cursing this day. It's that the Lord will understand what's going on, and the Lord will take care of this. That's what David was thinking. Yeah, David is a man after the Lord's own heart. He is a man, and he understood things. He is a human. He understood that sometimes he has made a bad decision, but he held accountability to himself, and that was and showed integrity. And also never failed to still rely on the Lord and understand and ask for forgiveness, and then understand that the Lord God is a mighty God, and he's a forgiving God. So he made sure that his men did not harm Abishai at this time, because if something was going to happen to Abishai, or it was going to happen. It was already going to happen. He already was concerned about his son. He was already concerned about what just happened to him with the kingdom being pulled away from him by his own flesh and blood, by his own son. Wow, lots going on here. What does this have to do, bringing past to present? A lot. So one thing is that people tend to do things, and there's a lot of instances where we ourselves don't have to do anything. Have you ever heard of the saying, like, the person will hang themselves, or they will end up being the fool? They will show the fool. Because a lot of times people will do things to harm others, or to get revenge, or not even revenge, just to be facetious. Because for some odd reason, they wrote a script, they've made a judgment, and things have to now fall in line so they can see something through that they've decided that needs to be conquered in a wicked way. And truly, because that's what happens when we let anger take over and our emotions take over. We don't care what happens as long as something bad happens to someone else or a group of people. And a lot of times when we do like David and say, you know what, this person may be completely wrong, or they may have a little bit of truth to it, but how they're doing it, how they're going about it is completely wicked. It's completely wrong. I'm going to let the Lord decide. I'm going to let the Lord see this. I'm going to present this to the Lord, because he already sees it. But I want to, because of my relationship with him, I want to present it to the Lord and say, look, this is what's going on. I lay it into your hands, because I know that you are just and you are righteous and you are the judge. I know that I am protected in your wings, and I know to rely upon you. And so that's what David's doing. And we're going to see what happens. We're going to see definitely what happens with Abishai, especially, and his son Absalom. So when we take a moment and allow things to run their course, sometimes that's what we are to do. Sometimes the Holy Spirit, sometimes we're being guided to take a moment. Yes, emotions are valid. Yes, ourselves, but to act on something that immediately happens, or something that we believe we need to immediately protect ourselves from, understand that you have the Good Shepherd. You have the best protection that there is. And allow for the Lord to work and to continue to work. And then he may reveal to you that he's already taken action. And now that person or that group looks the fool. First-hand witness. You also don't want to be on the other side of that too. You don't want to be, because, we look at things from a roundabout way. You also want to, if you've been hurt, if you are been into that, I prejudge someone, take a moment and give it to the Lord. Is this information that I have decided is factual? Is it actual factual, Lord? The Lord will reveal to you, no, it's not. Or, hey, it is, but let me handle this. Let me handle this. Or no, you're in left field. Let me bring you over here and understand that this person or these group of people can actually help you with your goals and with your walk with the Lord. So think about that. What kind of thoughts or feelings come to your mind when we read over this? How does it make you feel? What does it make you think?